National Trial Lawyers Top 100.
I have
one jail person left, and that's Rachel Linton. If she's out and available, if not, I'll wait.
Okay.
Who's the client?
Virginia Cole, K-O-H-L.
Is it my case?
Yeah, it's a veteran or person over 65. She's part of the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what it is. It's that I think
You got some inmates, don't you?
All right, are we here for arraignments then?
Yes, Judge.
All right, everyone here that's for arraignment, would you please raise your right hand or stand up so I can see who you are? All right, each one of you have the right to know the charges against you. You have the right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. You have the right to remain silent. An arraignment here is an option to enter a not guilty plea and request a trial and an attorney. You can plead guilty if you want to, and which would subject you to waiving your right to certain rights, like your right to remain silent, right to a trial, right to cross-examine witnesses, right to present your case and testify, right to decline to testify. There's a third option called no contest, which is where you're saying, I'm not going to admit I did anything wrong, I'm not going to deny it, but it's treated as a guilty plea. And you would also be waiving certain rights, but also maintaining certain rights, like the right to an appeal on a no contest plea. The advantage of a no contest plea is that say you were facing a criminal case and a civil suit out of the same action, for example, like a DUI with injuries. If you plead no contest just to get the criminal case resolved, in the civil case they would still have to prove you did it if you were being sued in a civil case with a no contest plea. With a guilty plea, they could use that in a civil case, a civil lawsuit, to say you pled guilty in criminal, so we don't have to prove you did it, just a question of damages. All right, who we got for arraignments? Whoever, just come on up and form a line right there. And
4656.
In Your Honor, the first two would be mine. Adam Parkinson, number 24.
all right, we'll have a seat so we don't have you all waiting up. I'll call you down the docket.
I know, that's what I was going to say. Your Honor, we did Mr. Parkinson this morning.
Mr. Parkinson.
Number 24, or at least it's 24 on mine. 25, sorry.
All right, Adam Dale Parkinson.
We did him this morning.
All right,
Next is number 26, Tyler Peavy. Mr. Peavy is present.
all right.
Your Honor, I did talk to him about the state's plea offer. He would like to take advantage of it. He just needs to sign it.
Okay.
And
All right, this is 2023 CF 916, Tyler Peavy. Sir, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, will be entering a no contest plea to count 2, possession of paraphernalia, and the state is going to drop the charges or null process charges on count 1, possession of a controlled substance, correct?
Yes, sir.
State?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form, Mr. Peavy?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this no contest plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done on your case for you?
Yes, very.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. You are judged guilty, count 2, possession of paraphernalia, misdemeanor, $270 court cost, $50 cost of prosecution, $50 PD fee, $50 PD application fee, and anything else. All pros count 1, the felony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, Courtney Ard, is that right?
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Courtney Ard, 23 CF 862, 23 CF 863. Judge, we'd like to consider not guilty plea, leave this set for pretrial. I believe she's already on the 26th.
Not guilty, June 26 pretrial.
And
Okay.
we might want to put in an AKA for Ms. Ard. I don't know if we do that here, if we can do that with the clerk. Go down to customer service. Okay. Fantastic. Thank
All right, thank you.
you.
All right, you are Traylon Bess, is that right, sir? This is 23 CF 785. You're charged with fleeing and attempting to elude and resisting an officer without violence. It looks like a felony and a misdemeanor. Third-degree felony, is that right, and a first-degree misdemeanor?
Yes, it's correct. I just wanted to, before you ask for public defender, Your Honor, I would like to announce the offer.
Okay,
Am I?
yes,
good?
go ahead.
The offer would be to dismiss the felony for a plea to the misdemeanor count 2 and adjudication of guilt on that for 1 year of probation. Court costs and just a letter of apology to the officer.
All right, do you understand that offer, that if you would
Yes.
like to enter a no contest plea, they're going to dismiss the felony against you?
Okay.
Want to do that?
Yeah, what was everything you said?
All right, I'll tell you. She's going to dismiss the felony charge against you.
Mm-hmm.
You would plead to the misdemeanor resisting without violence. I'd judge you guilty and sentence you to 1 year probation with standard court costs and you write a letter of apology to the police officer. No jail time, no felony conviction, no nothing like that. You want
Yes,
to do
sir.
it? Do you?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this course the truth, so help you God. All right, you're Traylon Bess, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, you want to enter a no contest plea to the charge of resisting an officer without violence of a first-degree misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No.
You are the rights you're waiving by entering this plea, like a right to remain silent, right to an attorney, right to a jury trial, and various other rights. You're waiving those rights. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Court finds has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. The state has announced they will dismiss the felony, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, the state dismisses
That
that.
count 1 is dismissed. Count 2, that's a misdemeanor. You're judged guilty, sentence you to 1 year, regular probation, standard court costs, and write a letter of apology to the police officer. And you meet with probation right over here. Waive cost of supervision. All right, thank you. Timothy Brumby?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Mr. Timothy Brumby. This is 23 CF 814. Judge, we have reached an agreement, if I may approach.
All right. Mr. Brumby, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, you are charged with possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony, and possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor. This is case number 23 CF 814. You are wanting to enter a no contest plea to the count 2 misdemeanor, and the state's going to drop the charges on the felony. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
You understand that, Mr. Brumby?
Yes, I do.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes,
You
sir.
understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
I do.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done in your case for you?
Very much, yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it, adjudicates you guilty of the misdemeanor, sentence you to time served in county jail, $50 cost of prosecution, $220 court costs, $100 PD fee, due within 180 days or sent to collections. So I believe you will be getting released today unless there's some other hold on you from somewhere else.
That's the understanding, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And that's your copy if you want it.
Jennifer Allen.
All right, Ms. Callen, you're here on an arraignment, I believe, and you're charged with a felony, drug possession without possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, and a misdemeanor possession of narcotics equipment. Is that correct, Ms. Emilio?
Yes, it is, Your Honor, and I do have an offer.
The state has an offer. See if you want to accept it. You don't have to, but what is it?
Is to dismiss the felony and plead to count 2 misdemeanor for an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served and court costs. No probation, no jail.
All right, the state's made that offer. If you plead no contest, they're going to dismiss the felony. I'll sentence you to a judge guilty, credit for time served, and court costs. You want to do
I'll
that?
take that offer.
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
This is Jennifer Jean Callen, 2023 CF 861. You want to enter a no contest to the charge of possession of narcotic equipment, a misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea? Are you understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Are you under the influence of any drugs or medication that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On count, the state has announced the state's dismissing count 1, the felony.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, count 2, you're judged guilty of misdemeanor. You're sentenced to credit for time served, standard court costs.
Thank you.
Okay. Keen Calloway. All right, Mr. Calloway.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Akeem Callaway. This is 23 CF 923. I may have just one moment.
Okay.
Judge, we'd like to tender a not guilty plea and leave this set for pretrial.
All right, that will be June 26th.
Very well, thank you.
Okay. Jonathan Neal Cantwell here, case number 2023 23 CF 844.
Judge, I'm showing on the docket, on my docket, there's a next event listed at 6/8 at 9 a.m. I don't know if he has another case or he has another date on this case. It looks like this may have been transferred from the south end.
All right, we'll just, he's on the docket for June 8th. Okay, we'll just see him June 8th, I presume. Shakira Clayton.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Shakira Clayton. This is 23 CF 875, if I may have just one moment. Judge, we'd like to tender a not guilty plea and leave this set for pretrial.
All right, Ms. Clayton, June 26th, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Here, this plea.
All right, Timothy Comey.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Timothy Comey. This is 23 CF 940, if I may have just one moment. Please let you know. Judge, we had reached an agreement with the state. I just need Mr. Comey to sign his written plea. So we're waiving the trial. We're not going to trial or anything like that. Money, some of these court costs, the elections. Just restitution and stay out of trouble. If that's what you wanted to know, she'll sign it. And today's date is the 25th.
Mr. Comey, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
If I may approach, Judge.
Case number 23 CF 940, State versus Timothy Jacob Comey. Mr. Comey, you want to enter a no contest plea to the charge of criminal mischief, a lesser included offense of felony criminal mischief. You would be entering a plea to a misdemeanor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
You aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea? Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that will prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Judge you guilty, sentenced to 12 months probation, $1,300 restitution to Red Roof Inn, Crestview, automatic termination of your probation upon payment of restitution. As soon as you get that money paid, your probation will be terminated, okay? Court costs of standard court misdemeanor court costs, $50 cost of prosecution, $220 court costs, $100 PD fee sent to collections, and not a condition of probation, and adjudicated guilty, okay?
Judge, we'd also request that his supervision fees be waived.
Waived.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just keep it quick. Okay.
surcharge, but also that.
We'd request the same, Judge.
All right, I'll waive it.
Thank you.
And you are Edward Daughtry, is that right?
Darty.
Daugherty, okay.
Yeah.
You are charged, this is 2023 CF 810, possession of more than 20 grams of marijuana, possession of narcotics, that's a felony. Possession of narcotics equipment, a misdemeanor, and moving traffic violation with suspended license, I believe that is a first-degree misdemeanor also. Does the state have any kind of offer to Mr. Daughtry?
Yes, Your Honor, to dismiss the felony, plea as charged, count 2 and 3 for an adjudication and court costs. No probation.
How about that?
So I just court cost and
That's
that's
it.
basically it.
Yeah, except adjudicated.
That's fine.
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is true, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You want to enter a no contest plea to misdemeanor possession of narcotics equipment and driving with license suspended? You do? Yes. It's all being recorded, so you got to...
Yeah, oh, sorry, yes, sorry.
Okay.
My bad.
All right. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here
No,
today?
sir.
Court finds, you wear the rights you're waiving by entering this plea, right? The court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered, court accepts it. The state is going to what on count 1?
Dismiss count 1.
All right, and in count 2 and 3, court adjudicates you guilty, you're to pay standard court costs.
Great.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Jason Davis. This is 23 CF 815, 23 CF 826, if I can have just one moment. Judge, I believe we've reached an agreement. I just need Mr. Davis to sign. Judge, I think actually we are close. He lives in Alabama. We're going to try to set this for the 26th and try to work that out
all right, June
to get that taken
26th.
care of. So we'll enter not guilty plea, Judge.
Not guilty,
That's your
and
comment.
June 26th, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, please.
All right, this is 23 CF 912, Michael Duncan. You're Mr. Duncan, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Mr. Duncan. This is 23 CF 912, if I may approach with a written statement. Of course, you've included no objection there.
Mr. Duncan, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You want to enter a no contest plea to the charge of scheme to defraud financial institution and a third-degree felony and grand theft, a third-degree felony, and that is in 23 CF 912. You want to enter no contest plea to those charges, is that correct?
I'm sorry, did you say they were both third-degree felonies?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form, which explains your rights that you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Did anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or medication that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. It's a concurrent sentence of community control. And this sentence is on each count, and it's also concurrent with 23 CF 304. Same termination date, $100 cost of prosecution, $415 court cost, $150 PD fee, $4,940.50 restitution to Eglin Credit Union. And this is a downward departure from the guidelines on an uncoerced plea bargain, and you're adjudicated on both counts. Anything further?
Not
Okay.
that
Okay, thank you.
Adjudicated.
adjudicated guilty. She already adjudicated guilty. As well. So he's on probation, I think, until March 29th of 2020, something like that. This community control is essentially for 2 years. But
It
it's
says concurrent, whatever the term was in 23
Yeah.
CF 304.
Yeah, the community, this community control terminates with that community control, in 23 CF 304.
Okay?
No, it's concurrent. 2 years concurrent. 2 years concurrent.
You say concurrent or coterminous?
Concurrent, not coterminous, concurrent.
Okay. All right, waived.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Alan Ewards, 23 CF 939. If I'd have just one moment with Mr. Ewards. Today's date, please. Your Honor, if I may approach.
All right, you are Alan Ross Ewards, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And this is case 23 CF 939. Would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Sir.
You want to enter a plea to a misdemeanor possession of paraphernalia, and the state is going to drop the charge of possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony. Is that correct? All right, did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form, Mr. Ewards?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it, withholds adjudication. On count 2, the misdemeanor, you're sentenced to $50 cost of prosecution, $220 court cost, $100 PD fee, due within 180 days before being sent to collections. And count 1, state
Yes, Your Honor, dismiss it.
dismisses. Okay, anything further?
Not that I have, Judge, thank you.
All right. withheld adjudication. Thank you.
Sir, copy if you want. Downstairs. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Terry Flores. This is 23 CF 927. We do have an agreement with the state judge. I have seemed to have misplaced the written plea agreement that we filled out, but the terms were that she was going to plead to possession of paraphernalia. The state would have dismissed the count of possession of controlled substance. She would be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served, and assess the court costs.
That's the agreement around the...
Ms. Flores, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
This is case number 23 CF 927.
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Flores, you want to enter a no contest plea to a misdemeanor possession of paraphernalia, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Your right to a trial, right to remain silent, present your case and all? Okay. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
Yes, I have.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. That's a misdemeanor, and plea of no contest is adjudicated guilty.
In the misdemeanors, yes.
Correct,
Been
Judge.
in jail.
Adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served, and standard court costs, and the state is going to dismiss the felony, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'd request 180 days to pay those court costs, Judge.
180 days to pay court costs.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay? Thank you. This is case number 23 CF 914, Tandre Dwayne Fournay. Is he here?
Your Honor, 1 second. I think,
Given a different court date or something, or?
it was a fugitive from justice case, and am I correct, Madam Clerk? That's the charge, yes. I have custody of defendant was relinquished, transferred to requesting jurisdiction. That's what I have. So maybe they just temporarily here. That's what I didn't. Okay, so there is, he's not supposed to be here.
All right, so is it just dismissed? Is that what,
It's a few, yeah, it's the same issue that we had earlier with Ms. Glisson. He didn't have pending charges in our state.
Yeah,
He
all
was
right.
just arrested for that, so he was released.
okay, so I guess it comes off the docket. All right, next. All right, Gerald. This is 23 CF 802, Gerald Dwayne Gant, charged with fleeing a police officer and driving license suspended. Is there an offer from the state for Mr. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor. Plea to a lesser included offense in count 1 to resisting officer without violence, and count 2, no valid driver's license, for an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and he has to show proof of valid driver's license or eligibility within 90 days. There's no probation, there is no jail.
Okay. So what they're offering you, if you'd like to enter a no contest plea, is 2 misdemeanor charges, no jail, no probation. You want to go with that?
Okay, count 2 will be dropped down to driving with no license.
And I'm offering no valid driver's
No
license.
valid driver license.
Right, because he's not gonna I don't know, Ms. Rivers, can you help me? The no valid driver's license is better than driving one license suspended.
Why? Because I've never had a license. Never had a valid driver license.
You don't have it?
I've never had one. I don't know why it would be suspended.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's like you had no license, but you were driving.
Right.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's,
sir. Yes, I'm willing to take that plea.
all right.
If you need more than 90 days, under
What if-
80 days,
Yes,
What if
ma'am.
he doesn't get the show proof?
I think it's an administrative thing with the
Yeah.
court. We used to do that in misdemeanor court all the time.
He doesn't show proof within,
I'm trying to get the license.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you might have.
so
a
it's
right,
administrative, not
Court costs
jail or
$20.
anything like that, okay.
but you don't
All right,
have to.
Mr. Gant,
Yes,
did
sir.
I swear Mr. Gant in already?
I don't believe
All right,
so.
would you raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court is the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, this is 23 CF 803, State versus Gerald Gant. And you, Mr. Gant, will be entering a plea to 2 misdemeanors. One is resisting without violence, and the other is driving with no valid driver's license, correct?
Yes, sir.
Another misdemeanor. That's a lesser of driving with license suspended. And are you aware you want to enter a no contest plea to those charges, as I just told you?
Yes,
correct? Okay. And are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
Not at all.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here
No.
today? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. A judge guilty on both. Standard court costs, no probation, no jail time, show proof of eligibility or license within 180 days. Okay? All right, that's it. Thank you.
Judge, if I could recall Mr. Duncan, we just want to make sure the record is clear as to how his sentence is supposed to go.
Yep. All right, that's 2023 CF 912, State versus Michael Duncan. You probably want it coterminous.
Well, essentially, Judge, the plan was that his community control on this case in 912 is going to terminate at the same time of his community control on 23 CF 304. That termination date is currently scheduled for March 29 of 2025, so we want the record to show that's his termination date for this supervision as well.
I have no issues, 2 months different, right?
All right.
And then any outstanding requirements can go, I believe he's actually on drug offender probation for 1 year following that, so any outstanding requirements we'd ask to just transfer to 23 CF 304.
Okay, and his probation will terminate consistent or concurrent with 304.
Correct.
All right, that's fine.
Community control portion.
The community control.
Community control,
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Okay.
We have heard from her family. I don't know what the situation is. This lady has some difficulty communicating. She has a large stoma, and so cannot speak. And apparently there's an issue with her larynx. The stoma may be because they removed the larynx, but according to her family, if she puts her finger over the stoma, she still can't speak. So what I'd ask the court to do is let me go ahead and appear for her for purposes of arraignment, enter a plea of not guilty on her behalf, request 15 days for any pre-arraignment motions, and demand trial by jury. And I'll get her in the office, and we'll figure out if there's anything we need to do in terms of communication when the case comes up for court next time. The state advised me earlier they've made an offer for a misdemeanor, and I'll go over that
Are
with
you
her as well.
been appointed, I guess?
I have been appointed, Judge. I was appointed at her first appearance.
Any problem? All right, June 26th.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry, I'm just making a quick note. Okay, Ms. Linton.
All All right, 2023 CF 915, Rachel Ann Litton, arraignment. She's charged with battery on a detained person in a jail facility.
Judge, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on her behalf, request 15 days for any pre-arraignment motions, and demand trial by jury. She's got another matter on the docket for the 30th. It's a VOP arraignment. We're contracting to have her evaluated, and in fact, I've already approved the paperwork on that. I'm going to suggest, if we can, we go ahead and handle that VOP and set her off without subpoenas on that as well.
June 26th, is that what you're asking?
June 26th on this case, Judge, and if we can have the other track this case, that's fine with me.
Okay, June 26th, thank you.
Judge, that's all the cases that I have before the court.
Right. You know anything about Mr. Rodriguez? Notice to appear here today? Well, wait, we'll call him again at the end of the, we'll call him again at the end. All right, Brandon Rowell, this is 2023 CF 867, driving license suspended, second or subsequent conviction.
Your Honor, I do have an offer if he wishes to accept today, if I may.
Yes.
It would be plea as charged to the count, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, a $500 fine, and court costs and costs of prosecution. So no probation, no jail, just fines and money.
About that. All right, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court's true, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Rowell, you want to enter a no contest plea to the charge of driving license suspended, second or subsequent conviction?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this no contest plea?
Yes, sir.
Anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea? Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that will prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
May I approach with a score sheet, Your Honor?
Okay. And so this is a misdemeanor, correct? Oh, felony? Oh, okay.
Does not score.
All right. So you understand this is a third-degree felony, correct?
No, sir, I didn't, but I
Is
know
that
now.
right, Ms. Gleason?
Yes, Your Honor. It's driving while license suspended as a habitual.
Oh, habitual, okay. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Judge you guilty. Sentence you to credit for time served. $500 fine.
And then court costs of prosecution.
Standard court costs.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that's $415, and then $100 cost of prosecution.
$548 total.
And then the $100 cost of prosecution, as long as that's in there, and then a $500 fine.
$100 cost of prosecution. No probation. No jail time.
And we'll give him 180 days to pay. Is
I'm
that-
sorry. Credit for time served.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 180 days to pay.
I think they'll
Okay.
send you a minute sheet and a disposition sheet. Y'all don't. I can write it down for you.
All right. That appears to be it.
Thank you, sir.
Miguel Luz Trowery. Is that right? Is it Mr. Trowery?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is 2023 CF 959. Is it Angel? Angel Trowery. You're charged with intimidation, written threat to bodily injury, a third-degree felony. What is there an offer for Mr. Trowery? Is there an offer for Mr.
Not at this time.
Trowery? Okay. Mr. Trowery, would you like to you have the right to a public defender. Would you like me to appoint a public defender to represent you in this case?
I'm probably gonna get a paid lawyer.
Okay. I'll set it for June 26th. How about that? You plead not guilty? You plead not guilty?
Yes.
Okay, and you ask for a jury trial?
Well, I guess I'm getting a lawyer to try to see.
Well, I'm gonna put you down for a jury trial. And plead you not guilty, and June 26th is your next court date, so tell your attorney when you retain one that's your date. You'll get some piece of paper here, okay?
Okay, thank you. Can I ask you,
Hang on a second, yes.
can I ask you a question? The intimidation charge, what is that, what felony is that?
Third degree.
Third degree felony.
It's, isn't that right, Ms. Glisson? It's a
Your Honor, the charge is written threats to kill or do bodily injury, and that's second-degree felony.
second degree, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a second degree. I don't have a full description of what you're charged with, just some symbols. So it's a second degree felony, rather serious.
I know.
So make sure you get your attorney, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Steve Stevenson. All right, Mr.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. This is 2023 CF 919. Steve Stevenson, you are charged with obtaining property under $20,000 by fraud. It's a third-degree felony. Ms. Glisson, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're here on arraignment. Is there an offer for him?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
All right. Would you like to have the court appoint a public defender to represent you?
No, Your Honor, I'll have to get one myself.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll plead. What we'll do is plead you not guilty.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ask for a jury trial, and we'll set you for June 26th and get you an attorney and tell him that court date. And I think you'll get a piece of paper here. Correct? With his court date. All right, June 26th.
Appreciate it. Can I get more time than June 26th, Your Honor? Would that be possible? I got a lot of information I got to look for and find out with the case. Sometime in July, if it would be possible, if you don't mind, if it's available.
Well, how about July 6th?
July 6th?
Judge, I don't have a problem with that as long as the defendant's willing to waive his right to a speedy trial.
Yeah, you're going to waive your right to a speedy trial.
I'm not sure what that means exactly.
You have a right to have your trial within a certain time frame, but if you're asking for a continuance, that means you're going to be waiving your right to a speedy trial.
No, I guess we'll have to do it on the 26th then.
All right, June 26th. Your attorney will explain that to you. But that should be more than enough time for you to get an attorney and have him explain it to you, file any necessary paperwork or motions, or can ask for a continuance, whatever he wants to do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate your time. Have a
All
good
right,
weekend.
thank you.
I'm about to ask you a question.
Wendy Aldrich.
Your Honor, Ms. Albright has two cases, 22 CF 2178, to which I'm appointed to, and for some reason, which she is not sure why, I was not appointed to, but she wishes me to be appointed to 23 CF 938.
I'll appoint you.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we've reached an agreement in this matter.
Ms. Ulrich, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God. All right, this is case number 23 CF 938, State versus Wendy Ulrich. You are going to be entering a no contest plea into is it 22 CF 2178, possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony, and 22 CF 2178,
Petty theft.
count 2, petty theft, a second-degree misdemeanor, and 23 CF 938, three counts of possession of a controlled substance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that 3 felonies?
Yes, Your Honor.
Everybody has a little different shorthand and symbols, and so I'll speak up if I don't get it exactly right, because I'm trying to interpret all this like Egyptian hieroglyphics sometimes. So you understand that, Ms. Ulrich, all you're pleading to? Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form? Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea? Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work that Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. You're judged guilty on all counts, all cases. You're sentenced to, is this a concurrent sentence on
Yes, Your Honor.
everything?
45 days concurrent.
45 days, Okaloosa County Jail. Concurrent on all cases, all counts. Credit for time served. Concurrent on all cases, all counts. 515 court cost times 2. $100 cost of prosecution times 2. $150 PD fee. $100 an additional $100 PD fee on 23 CF 938, and you may do community service for court costs. Adjudicated guilty on everything, all counts, all cases.
And Your Honor, she does have an FTA out of 22 CF 2178. It's not been filed on, but the state's taken no action.
All right, state won't do anything on that. Okay?
She was in jail on that date, so.
All right.
Yes.
Your Honor, Ms. Waddles before the court on 22 CF 1525, 22 CF 1642. We're going to request a continuance at this time.
What, 26th of June?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 26th of June.
June 26th, 9 a.m.
All right, do we have Joseph Anderson? Oh, that was already taken care of.
Ms. Waddle, we wanted to make sure that if there was a capias, that it was withdrawn. Okay. We just want to make.
All right, thank you.
If I can recall Mr. Davis, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Tim Gibbs on behalf of Jason Davis, 23 CF 815, 23 CF 826. We have reached an agreement. If I can approach, Judge.
All right. Mr. Davis, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God. All right, you are charged with driving license suspended or revoked, third offense, a third-degree felony, attaching improper tag. That is a second-degree misdemeanor. That is under 23 CF 815, and then under 23 CF 826, you're charged with felony petty theft, a third-degree felony. You are pleading no contest to those charges, those counts, and is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form? Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea? Are you under the influence of any drugs or medication that will prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done on your case for you? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On the felony counts on both cases, you're sentenced to 11 months, 29 days probation concurrent, $200 cost of prosecution, $830 court cost, $250 PD fee, 24 hours community service work, mail-in or phone-in probation. And on the misdemeanor count, you're sentenced to time served and adjudicated on all counts, all cases. Anything else?
That's all I have, Judge.
I'm gonna provide the score sheet within minutes.
Okay.
So just get your probation. Check in against you.
Next.
Brad Johnson here on behalf of Alex Tristan Coffin. Mr. Coffin is being brought in. It's case number 21 CF 1226. Your Honor, I have a written plea agreement. Mr. Coffin and I have discussed it numerous times. I do need him to execute it here.
All right.
Your Honor, he can't quite reach that podium with the shackles on. He's going to have to come over here for just a second. That's fine. Your Honor, I have a fully executed plea agreement if you may approach.
All right, this is case number 2021 CF 1226. Charged with lewd and lascivious molestation, victim 12 or older, younger than 16, and count 2, contributing to delinquency of a minor, misdemeanor, first degree. Did I swear in, Mr. Coffin, yet?
I believe so, Your
Would
Honor.
you raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court's the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're going to be pleading in count 1 to a lesser offense of lewd and lascivious conduct. That is a third-degree felony, correct? And then count 2 is a misdemeanor. You'll be pleading as charged to contributing to a delinquency of a minor, a first-degree misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form, which explains your rights that you're waiving?
I signed it, I didn't read it.
You read it together in the jail. He didn't read it today when he signed it.
All right, well, when you have read it, is that correct? And you,
Yeah,
and you understand it?
some of it. I'm not smart enough to understand it, but he explained it to me, so I understand some.
All right, so your lawyer explained and went over this form in detail completely with you, okay? And he answered any questions you
Yes.
may have had? And you understand what you're doing here today, correct?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
All right, are you happy with the work Mr. Johnson's done for you on your case, representing you?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. You are, count 1, sentenced to 36 months in Department of Corrections, concurrent with 21 CF 1104, credit for all time served since 9/13/2022, followed by 2 years sex offender probation. Count 2, you're sentenced to the misdemeanor, sentenced to time served. And is the state or defense aware of any DNA evidence that would exonerate the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and adjudicated guilty on both cases, on both counts on this case. Anything further?
There are some special conditions that are laid out on the second page, Your Honor, top of the
Oh, I'm
page.
sorry. Yeah, additionally, while on probation or community control, you are to complete 2 years of sex offender probation pursuant to section 948.30. You're subject to GPS monitoring for a period of 2 years during sex offender probation at the cost of $1 per day. No contact with the victim, to wit, TAC, date of birth 3/9/2006, and KDR, date of birth 6/15/2007. No contact with minors upon release. Designation of sex predator, and this is a downward departure based on a legitimate, uncoerced plea bargain. Anything further?
Your Honor, you did reach out to the victims and to Marcy's Law, and they are in agreement.
All right, the victims in compliance with Marcy's Law are in agreement with this sentencing and plea. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
This
Your Honor,
is-
could you repeat that? My client, he didn't hear what the court just said.
The victims are have been informed of this sentence, and they are in agreement and had a right to testify, but apparently they've waived that right, but they're in agreement with this sentence. Correct? Okay.
Yes, sir. That's my understanding.
Granted. All right. Hooked up to the monitor prior to release. Okay. Yes,
He was not on the docket today.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. His case number is 23 CF 871. He was charged with driving while license suspended, habitual. I'm in the process of dismissing the case against Mr. Smith, so,
All right, well, why don't we,
and I'm announcing a dismissal right now, and no prosecco.
all right, apparently, what was that case number again, please?
23 CF 871.
They're dismissing the charges against you. Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may mention on the record, he drove all the way from Pensacola when he got arrested for driving while license suspended, and he was subpoenaed by me as a victim in one of my cases, so that's the reason why.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The only other thing that I had was Mr. Bullet Boy on the 2 o'clock docket. We took care of him this morning with a continuance.
All
So
right.
that concludes my business.
Okay, what do we have left? Any more arraignments?
I don't have any other.
Who is this gentleman that was here and just,
Mr. Rivera, he's on the 2 o'clock docket.
all right, we'll take 10 minutes. And this is for an arraignment for him?
No, Your Honor, this is the pro se motion that was filed by Mr. Rivera that the state filed a motion to strike on.
I may be excused, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, the next case is 2022 CF 1222 and 22 CF 1214. Sexto Omer Rivera, correct, sir?
Sixto Rivera, yes,
Sixto,
Your Honor.
okay, very good, thank you.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good, looking good, thank you. What do we got?
Your Honor, in this case, the state has filed a motion to strike Mr. Rivera's motion. We do not believe that while Mr. Rivera submitted about a 2-page motion, these are all opinions. There's no facts, there's no evidence. And frankly, Your Honor, he does not state a legal basis for that motion. And therefore, we are asking the court to strike that motion and then proceed with the case. If Mr. Rivera does not agree with what's the state's actions to this point, he certainly has the right to request a trial. That's the appropriate way to contest any charges, not filing frivolous motions.
Your Honor, I would love to move forward with the case, but this woman has lied to the court so much from the time she charged me.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to all of Mr. Rivera's
May I bring the evidence forward, Your Honor?
baseless statements.
So this woman lied to the court, and there are 6 body cam footages showing different to what she said. That caused a theft of over $10,000 of my property, which this woman caused due to her false statements in this court. Furthermore, this is on Facebook Live. The world has seen it, and she continues to deny her actions. I got the video of the body cam footage. I got the court recording. I got the documents of her denying her own actions. And now that I submitted her own answer, she comes stating that there is illegal insufficient. So it's legally insufficient that this woman caused a theft while prosecuting these 2 cases, which by the way, I was told I was the victim by the police. And the person who stole from me, with your help, was told to be the victim, the aggressor. And if you saw the videos, you still denied that, which is a lie from you. And if you didn't watch the video, then you lie, because that's exactly what the body cam footage shows, which you know is a false arrest, and you have done nothing but lie to the court. And she cost over $10,000.
Well, this will be set for June 26th. Do you have an attorney? Do you want a public defender?
My attorneys, one of them was a judge who dealt with this priorly. So then they knew of her lies, but they didn't want to go against her because it's not convenient to them. So I fired them. So now, because I know of what she has done and the theft that she has done, because this woman is a criminal, and I have the evidence right there to show it. And if I'm lying, she can go ahead and sue me for lying. But I know she won't do it because she knows that I'm telling the truth. So if we can move forward, if I am entitled and my right is a fair trial, this to be removed. I cannot have a fair trial, which is my right, while this woman continues due to all the lies that she has done, that she has made here, and all the crimes that she has caused due to the false statements that she has provided here in this court.
All right. Did you want a public defender to represent you?
I want her removed before anything. I would like that evidence to move
That's denied.
forward.
I'm not going to remove. If I had the authority to remove public state attorneys, every one of them would be removed, because all defendants say they're lying.
I understand. I'm not. If someone else states the case, I'm fine with that. It's her.
Every defendant wants me to get rid of the state attorney because they all say they're lying.
It's her. I have the document there, Your Honor. Let's play the evidence. All I'm asking, let's play the evidence.
This is not the trial. I'd like to see the evidence if we get that far, but this is not the trial date.
So if we go to trial, and then this woman gets caught lying, isn't it going to become a mixed trial? So are we going to go through that? Really,
Well,
do the right thing, man.
She doesn't have to answer your questions, Mr. Rivera.
Do the right thing.
The jury will do the right thing once they hear the evidence.
Okay, so now,
Would you like a
since
public-
we cannot do this here, so my next step is to actually sue her personally and take her to the bar, complain against her personally, because the evidence is clear. All we have to do is show the evidence, and you see that this woman has been lying. That's why she doesn't do anything against me. She hasn't filed anything against me, Your Honor. And that's okay. If this is not the moment, that is okay. But now I have to move forward in order to show what this woman has done. Because I want to see my children. I want to have my family. And I've been falsely accused. And this is not the first, second, or third time this person has done it. And this woman helped her steal from me as well. So now I have to go and show what she has done in order to move forward with a fair trial, which is my right.
You want to represent yourself? You want a public defender appointed?
If I can't have a public defender, Your Honor, due to the income that I make.
You make too much.
I'm a disabled, 100% disabled veteran, and I'm made over the cap. So,
Well, there are circumstances this court could still appoint a public defender if you're disabled. You're a disabled veteran.
Yes, I am a 100% disabled veteran.
Any objection to appointing a public defender? If he's a disabled veteran, we appreciate that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And what I'll do is appoint the public defender, and we'll set this for pretrial June 26th. They'll help you. They'll look at the evidence you say you have, and then we'll set this for pretrial June 26th and see what happens, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for your...
Have a great day.
Thank you for your participation. And And to be honest with you, every defendant says the prosecutor's lying,
I
they want him
understand.
removed. Okay, thank you. June
Have a great day,
26th.
Your Honor.
Appointed the public defender, thank you. Anything else we have today? Anything else y'all want to have that we don't have on the docket? Okay,